Good afternoon, Gwen.
Good afternoon, Andrea. How are you?
I'm fabulous. Thank you so much for allowing me this time and space to actually have a chat with you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super happy to be here and excited.
Yeah, perhaps first of all, you'd like to introduce yourself and what you do.
Yes, absolutely. So my name is Gwen. I'm French, but I have lived in Malaysia for 4 years. And I'm the co-founder of Ellegra, an online personal styling service that was launched earlier this year. What we do is essentially help women style themselves and empower them in the process. So you just need to fill out a style quiz online. And based on your answer, our professional stylist will pick 5 pieces just for you that we will send to your door. You try them at home from the comfort of your home. And then you basically decide which one you want to keep, which one you want to return, and you return everything for free. And that's it.
Wow, that's sounding so exciting on that business. What makes you decide what you want to do now? Wow.
Well, so myself, I am a person who's always loved to be well dressed,
Mm-hmm.
but I've never wanted to have the the pain or the headache of shopping. Because I'm very tall and I've got special sizes, it's always been very difficult for me to find my sizes, and I don't think I'm not sure I have a great sense of style. My business partner does. She's a professional stylist. She's been trained in Beijing and Singapore. And so when we met last year, I had just given birth to my second child, a little girl,
Mm-hmm.
and I was looking for a way to use my skills in a way that would be useful to women. And my background is actually a corporate background. I used to work in the entertainment industry, so nothing to do with fashion except maybe for the photo shoot you would do with artists.
Mm-hmm.
I used to work in the corporate side, in the business side of music labels, Sony Music in London,
Mm-hmm.
for 4 years. And after Sony Music, my husband and I decided to take our life to Malaysia, settle in KL, and shortly after, I joined iFlix. So iFlix is, some people call it the Netflix of Asia. They have their
Yeah.
offices in Mid Valley.
Yeah.
And so how is it related to Allegra and my journey with entrepreneurship is that at iFlix, what I did for them is I joined to head up their content analytics team. And what that means is that I would look into the performance of the shows that we were putting on the platform. So how many people watch this movie and that TV show and this short form? What is it that we should keep? What is it that we should not, renew from a licensing perspective? And then we would essentially, based on this data, optimize our content budget, which is very important for a company like iFlix. And when I met Marie-Alice, my business partner at Ellegra, we always have like conversations that are related to art and also businesses. And we kind of wondered if there was a way for us to make the experience of shopping better for women,
Mm-hmm.
combining what she knows how to do best, which is
Yep.
obviously styling, and what I know how to do best, which is I've seen so many digital companies, launch and succeed or sometimes fail. And so what I would bring to the table is essentially bring a service that uses online and digital, the internet, to basically make shopping better and faster for women.
Wow.
So very long answer. I hope that answers it.
Yeah, you did. You covered a lot there. It's like you're so successful already in the corporate and you choose to take on this new challenge on entrepreneurship journey. So what are some of your biggest lessons so far?
Biggest lesson,
Mm-hmm.
being an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would say the one thing that a CEO I worked with always said almost every Monday during our stand-up meetings was never assume. And it took me a while to understand why this was so important. But over the years during my career, I realized that when you make professional or even personal decision or anything you do in life, you often have your own assumptions, you have unconscious bias that you have just like any other person.
Yep.
And these these things that you have in your head, these assumptions, can sometimes prevent you from looking at the full picture. So you might be missing something because you are making those assumptions, and being very aware that these assumptions are there uh, makes you a better leader and a better entrepreneur, because you're not missing out on options, alternatives. It allows you to think outside of the box. And I have an example, if you're okay for me to provide.
Please go ahead.
When we started Allegra, I was extremely convinced that having a packaging that looks amazing, just like, I don't know, like a New York shopping bag, as I call them, the round one. I wanted to have this, but obviously it's very inconvenient, from a shipping standpoint.
Yes.
And I was really convinced that customers would attach a lot of importance to that packaging. And then we launched, and we tried many things. And when we talked to our customers, we realized that actually the minute they get the package, they take everything that's inside, they put it on their couch, or they put it on their bed, and they try on. And what really matters to them is the selection that the stylist has taken time to do for them, alongside the style guide, which is a little letter from the stylist to the customer that gives you idea on how to style up anything we've sent you, but also anything you have in your wardrobe. And if I had been following the assumptions I was making, I would never have challenged it, and I would have kept investing time and money into something that doesn't really matter to the end customer. So that's just one example of how so important it is to never assume.
Oh, that's a really nice example of what you mean by never assume, and also really making it very relevant to the customer's point of view, isn't it?
Yeah. And the other stakeholder you can really use is your employees. Your employees sometimes have more direct relationship with the customers, and you should make sure that you listen to them. So at iFlix, I was always very connected to the customer service people. I love to hear what they had to say, because they heard it from the people who matter the most, the customers.
Yep, that's for sure. So there must be some days where you feel a little bit up and a little bit down.
Oh, yeah.
What's one of your favorite tagline and quote that you keep on pushing yourself through?
Yeah, so being an entrepreneur is definitely like a roller coaster ride. And the one quote I love is, and I wanted to say it right, so I'm reading it. Do one thing every day that scares you, by Eleanor Roosevelt. And the reason why I love this is because if you want to launch your business, of course, if you work for a company, there are ups and downs, and most of the time you don't even control them. Whereas if you're an entrepreneur, you have ups and downs and you can control them. But the fact of the matter is, you will only move forward if you grow, and you will only grow if you can get outside of your comfort zone and do something that really scare you, whether you're aware that it scares you or not. And so it goes back to being aware of maybe the assumptions you're making, or being aware of all the mental blocks you might have in your head. So once you're aware, you can pass this point and do it, even though it feels like jumping off a cliff. But you have to do it.
Yes.
You have to approach that partner that will make a huge difference to your business. You have to call that customer that could teach you so much about what she wants. And some people are introverts, and it's very scary for them. But every time they push themselves a little bit and a little bit and a little bit, it just gets easier over time. So baby steps, but it's very important to push yourself. And the way I become aware of these mental blocks and I can move forward, I've got 2 tips, if I may share.
Yes,
Meditation is really a great way to always stay aware of what's going on in your head, how you're feeling, how aligned your emotions are with the rest of the world, and align. So sometimes you don't even realize that you're all worked up for something, and it's only because you take 5 minutes on your bed or on a chair that you think, oh, this is really bugging me. once you're aware, you can do something about it. And that's the beauty of it. You take control. And then the other thing I do is go for a run, because when I go for a run, I don't know, for me, it works really well. I just have this open horizon that helps me solve things in a very different way than when I was sat at my desk.
Wow. That's fabulous tips. I've taken it all down in my notepad, and I'm definitely going to borrow that little tagline of yours and
Oh, good.
meditate on it.
I'm happy. Okay, good.
Yes. So just before I let you go, and I'm not going to let you go off so soon, is to share a book, your favorite book, so that we could actually, get inspired and also read them.
Okay.
What would that book be?
So I am all about women empowerment, even though I can't pronounce it as a French citizen. Women empowerment. And the book that really made a difference for me, because it made me go, aha, and it made me act as well, was the book by Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg. She is the Chief Operating Officer at Facebook.
Yes.
And she released that book in early 2010, I would say, I think. It had a huge impact internationally. She was a New York Times bestseller. And I think globally, I haven't met many people who haven't heard about the book, even though they haven't read it. So I like the fact that it's packed with actual research and facts and figures about how women are excellent during the study time, and then it just goes downhill for many of us and for many reasons. 2, 3, 5 years after we basically enter the workplace. So she doesn't make it up. She actually provides the research for it. And then she provides example of her own career of incidents that happened on the workplace when she was the victim of sexism, or when her ideas where someone took credit for them, or all these things that sometimes women think they are suffering from in the workplace and they don't quite know how to handle them. Yep. All these things help me first make the difference between what is done to the way society is set and then what is done to me, and I can actually control and do something different. Yep. So I would say it's this book. And then the beauty about it is that after the book was successful, so successful, she set up this platform called Lean In, yes. Which also breaks down into circles and it's everywhere. So I was following Lean In when I was working in London. And when I came to Malaysia, I naturally just went there because it's a nice way to meet up with other successful women and be together in this. So that would be the book I pick.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this afternoon and this sharing that you have shared with me. It's been very insightful, and I hope that you'll be back on this platform again.
Yes, me too. Thank you so much, Andrea. Have a nice rest of the day and weekend.
Yes, happy weekend.
Cheers. Bye-bye.